What's up guys, it's Dimes and today I'm gonna build a beach house for you. How very exciting, especially if you like beaches and or houses, then you're in luck. And if you don't like either of those two things, I'm sorry, you are totally out of luck because that is what's being built today. It's very exciting. So first of all, starting off with the terrain tool, going to shape the terrain, try and match the lot that's already there. You know, that's always a good practice to kind of color in your terrain straight away when you make a lot. I'm totally lazy and I never do this. Like, I just leave the default terrain that's on the lot and then I kind of shade it with colors like make shadows. Which is also good, but not really great because what tends to happen is when you export your lot to the gallery and then you bring the lot into a different kind of terrain. So for example, if I want to bring this into Newcrest, which is a neighborhood that is all green, then it will take on the color of the lot. And that's not great. So that's why you want to fill in your terrain. So then your terrain will stay consistent and your lot will always look fabulous. Or just decent in my case. And the other thing, another top building tip is try and build your deck before you build your main building. Now, I didn't do this in this, and this is why I'm adding the deck later in a very convoluted way. If you kind of build your stuff beforehand, it works a little bit better. You know, but we can still make it work. You know, you don't have to follow these rules. These are just the things I've learned, so you don't have to make my mistakes. Or you can, because making mistakes is how we learn, guys. And then another thing is, this is 900 speed, I believe. Let me know if that's too fast. The thing is, I'm a really slow builder. Like, I'm just gonna admit it. I'm not perfect. I build slowly. That's just how I build. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. You kind of need to be and kind of not need to be when you play The Sims. On the one hand, it's great because you get all the little details, all wonderful. On the other hand, it takes forever. So let me know if this speed is too fast for you guys. I'm wavering between 800 or 750 to 900. I feel like 900 is kind of pushing it. But then unless I edit parts of the build out, which is probably a good idea because I tend to like do the same thing over and over. But like, unless I edit parts of the build out, then it kind of needs to be probably between those speeds. But let me know if this is too fast, if you can't see what's going on. You know, part of the reason is this is a pretty big build for me. I tend to build like tiny homes and like starter houses and like 1-bedroom places. So that's part of the reason this video is so long. And also because I just mess around with roofs for about 20 minutes. Probably more in real time, but close to 20 minutes in game time. But yeah, this is a pretty standard beach house shape. If you have kind of looked at, obviously, I do use a reference, pretty much. I get ideas. I would say I don't copy the builds exactly, but like, it's good to get out there and see how, you know, architects make things. I look at a lot of architecture and things like that. And there are certain kinds of types of styles of houses that kind of repeat. And this kind of beach house is one that you see quite a bit. A pretty standard kind of beach house kind of look. Not super complicated, but I think it looks good. I mean, in hindsight, it's just a T shape. I wasn't aware of that at first, but sometimes you don't notice these things until you see them later. And the blue columns, so the columns that I've used is because Sims has some wooden siding wallpaper that goes around the build. And one of the siding wallpaper has a column on the side, as part of the wallpaper. And the way it's supposed to work is that the column wraps around the building when you place the wallpaper, and it gives a nice little kind of columned effect, a little bit like what I'm doing with the physical columns on this build. And it never really works. I'm sure most of you know this already. If you know the game, that's fine. Just ignore me. But like, yeah. So what I've done is I tend to add columns so that when I do place the wallpaper, especially this kind of siding type wallpaper, the columns don't glitch out. For example, the actual wallpaper in game, the column part will glitch out. If the room's too small, it doesn't do the angle effect, like the little corner effect. So to avoid that, I just add actual physical columns. So then, you know, if you ever change the exterior wallpaper, you'll still have the column look on the build. You know, things like that. So it works pretty good. This time I added it like only in the top 4 corners, and then of course around the build on the balcony. You know, sometimes I add quite a lot. I think my craftsman home had that effect and I added it a little bit more. But you kind of got to wing it. You have to like decide where you want to put it. Another thing I'm doing in this build is planning the interior, which is something I never do usually. I usually just wing it. I don't recommend this. I've said it before to all 5 of you that are watching. It's not advisable really to not plan out your interior. Always kind of, if you want to do a good job, I suppose. I tend not to. I think it's more fun sometimes not to. And also I'm kind of lazy, so. But like in this build I did, because it's such a big build. There's so many windows, and the windows play such a key part of the look of the build. I mean, they do in general, but especially in this one. You can watch me struggle with the windows. Like, that's something that takes me a very long time to decide. And the other thing is, don't be afraid. Oh, here I must have given up and just walked off. I had an existential crisis and I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, no, and then I came back. I said, I can do this. I can finish this build. But yeah, again with the windows, don't be afraid to mix and match the window styles. Maxis is really good at matching the colors that come in game with other expansions and stuff. They don't do it with every single expansion. Like, there are a few that the colors, like, for some don't have white. Or if it is white, it's like an off-white relative to a different kind of white. That's kind of how the problem I had with a couple of these windows. But Maxis in general is pretty good at matching their new expansions and their new content, I know the word, content packs with colors in the past. So that's really good. It makes it easy to mix and match. And you should totally mix and match styles of windows and stuff, because you know, not every window works for every surface. And I mean, maybe I go to extremes because I'm still doing windows more than an hour later. It took me almost an hour to pick the windows, and even then I went back and changed them, you know. But overall I would say, yeah, don't be afraid to mix and match your styles. You can kind of make things work. And I think, you know, it's easy to get samey. I say this all the time, and I probably will be saying it forever, but it's very easy to like Maxis match everything. Try and Maxis match everything. And you don't really want that, because it kind of makes things not pop, you know. You want things to pop, so you want a little bit of different colors, a little bit of different textures. You kind of want the windows to be different sizes and things like that, you know. And so that's kind of why it's taking me 500 years to pick like 20 windows and 3 doors. But that's kind of what you need to do. The way that I kind of build is, often I don't really have a plan. So I don't think, oh, I'm going to use this window or whatever. I just go through and go, oh, that window looks good. What does it look like when I put it on the build? So I'm pretty hands-on in that way. I decorate the same way. Like, often I will just go through every single rug and say, yes, that works. No, that doesn't work. I don't have, like, I'm sure other people do. They, like, have ideas in their head of what they're going to use ahead of time. I kind of do in some things, but most of all, I just try it and see if it works visually. Something that you can't do when you're designing in real life. Would that you could buy every single item and just check how it looks in the room. Designing in real life a little bit harder because of that. You kind of need to have that vision. That exterior little nook there that I've built, I was so undecided about that nook. I took it off, I added it back on. In the end, see there's a hard cut there, now it's gone again. In the end, I decided to keep it. I think it just repops back. Yeah, there it is. The thing is, I saved it, and then kind of looked at it in the front view, the building, and thought, oh yeah, I think I like it. But that's sometimes it's just hard. It's hard to decide on what to do. There's so many options and things like that. I think this couldn't be any slower than this, because otherwise it would just be basically just window picking. I think faster is a lot less boring, I suppose. And it's coming together though. And it's funny, it's kind of like when you build, at least when I build, it's kind of like weaving almost, like weaving a tapestry. That sounds so lame. That sounds so pretentious, but bear with me, guys. It kind of feels, at least when I build, that it's the right object for the right area, and you have to kind of go through and pick, what kind of object fits. Almost not like weaving, but more like a puzzle, I would say. And then you kind of know when it's right, when it starts to come together and starts to take shape, and you kind of realize that it starts looking like having a specific look, and the look works, It's very easy, I think, to just give up and just pick whatever. But maybe I should do that. My builds would be a lot faster and my videos would be a lot shorter. But I am what I am. I'm just gonna do what I do. Of course, the balconies are two different sizes. That's on purpose. That's because the back side has a little bit more space. I did that because I was going to put a decking area in the back. And in hindsight, I was going to add a pool. Well, I wanted to add a pool, and I think, oh, maybe I should have added a pool instead of doing a massive deck. But the lot is a little bit too small for it. I would have to get rid of the deck completely, or just have that whole area be a pool. And I really wanted an outdoor. I'm a big fan of outdoor settings. So, although with seasons now, in summer there's a bunch of thunderstorms in summer, and any outdoor furniture you leave out will and does get hit by lightning and will turn black. So, even though this is a summer beach house, that's going to happen a lot. And that's really annoying, but it's annoying for my outdoor builds, but what can you do? But yeah, again, about the pool. So, I think maybe I should have added a pool, but then it's a beach house. I'm not 100% sure. Again, sorry. I'm not 100% sure if Sims can go down to the beach and swim. I know they can go to the beach. You go click on the thing and you can walk down to the beach in the neighborhood. But I don't know if they can actually swim in the sea or not. I've never actually tried. I don't explore free play enough. I really don't. Mostly I'm building, and when I'm not building, I'm focusing on a couple Sims' lives, and their lives is usually I'm in San Myshuno, which is ironic because you can't export those the apartments to build, so I don't even live in the houses that I make myself half the time. That's another thing. So there I've dropped the deck down, and I did that because sometimes you can't free place the plants and things. They will try and go up above the deck when you start getting it next to the house, and so to avoid that, I drop the deck off so that I can place plants easier and they don't try and snap onto the balcony, which is not the look I'm going for, honestly. I mean, you can, but a bunch of plants on the side of deck isn't really super exciting. But yeah, again, I don't really play the regular game all that much. Not enough to know all the intricacies, so I don't know if you can swim. Hopefully you can swim in the sea. If not, maybe you guys can add a pool somewhere. Maybe export this to a bigger lot, add a pool. But don't re-upload that, guys. My build is what it is. I've had stuff re-uploaded by people before and it's sad and frustrating. I don't care if you guys change stuff and use it for your personal use. That's totally amazingly fine. Just don't re-upload it. It's not nice. I don't think anything really should be re-uploaded, and people don't check. They think you've made it, and it's downloads that and exposure that like I could have gotten or other people could have gotten. Not just me. Happens to freaking everybody, I think. I think there should be like a checkbox where you can allow or not allow re-uploads. That would be really good. I mean, I don't mind the Max's, like sometimes I do like makeovers, Max's makeovers. I think they're fine. That's Max's stuff. But I think when you're building something and somebody else sometimes they just re-uploaded it identically. Like I had some guy just upload the same build that I made, and all he or she did was take out a tree in the back, and that was absolutely it. And it's like, great. They got almost more downloads than I did. So yeah, don't re-upload, guys. Just don't. It's not nice. The other thing is, here I was trying to pick an outdoor seating, obviously. That's what I'm doing. And I really struggled with the colors. I really wanted to go with this blue stripe kind of look, and it just was not working. That's why I'm picking all this furniture, because it's like I'm just trying to have it work and be something I'm happy with, and it just was never clicking for me. It didn't seem beachy enough. So eventually, even though I try to make this work, that's why I keep adding all these ottomans and different sofa chairs and stuff. Not what's it called? Just chairs. Comfy chairs. Eventually I just give up, and it's like no, I'm just gonna do a completely different color. There I just left it and then started doing the exterior. Again, I'm still trying to get this blue to work, but I just couldn't. Maybe it's just me. In hindsight, watching it back, it's like, yeah, I could probably have used a couple of those colors. Like, I mean, that one works fine. But then I really wanted to use the little poof or the ottoman, and I just couldn't. It just wasn't working together, so. And sometimes I just pick the same thing back again. This took me a really long time. I forgot how long it took me to pick. And then I just decide, nope, I prefer the teal green. It works better and it fits with the yoga mat. Then I thought, oh, I'll have a slide, but that didn't fit anywhere in the build. Again, I probably in hindsight should have picked a bigger lot. And I could have put a pool and maybe a slide in the back. But, you know, maybe I can always export it myself and then re-upload it with a pool. Put it on there's another lot on Brindleton Bay, which is the neighborhood that I built this in. And Brindleton Bay is a great one because it's got seagulls, it's got beach noises, it works really well. Even though it's not like super beachy, it's pretty green. It's more like a port. See, I mean, it's a bay, so that makes sense. And with this outdoor furniture, I kind of struggled as well because I was undecided about the teal. I was also really undecided about the roof. I struggle with the roof because the roof colors in game aren't really what show up in world, and that's really annoying. That's a really annoying thing about building in this game, because you think you're getting one kind of color roof and then you try and apply it and it doesn't quite look right. I mean, for example, they have the thatch roof option that's one of the roof patterns, and the thatch roof has a bright yellow one, and then when you go and use it, it's really brown. In fact, I believe the thatch roof has a blue option, and it's also a shade of brown. All the thatch roofed colors are really just various shades of brown. There's not much variation in them, and I understand why that is, but it's a little bit annoying. Same with a couple of the other colors of the roofs. There's a few blue ones that when you go and show up, they just look black. And there's only one real blue colored roof, which is, I think, I can't remember. I think it's like an Italian tile, or like that kind of look. And that's the only true blue roof in the game. The rest are all like variations of grey and black. And I kind of wish that like the colors were more accurately represented, because sometimes it's like I kind of want to use that kind of color, or I wouldn't mind a shade of blue, and it never comes out quite right. But you know, it is what it is. I was gonna put this canopy here because I thought I really liked it, but then I zoomed out and I was undecided about it. It does cover the view quite a lot, and I really like the umbrellas, the big umbrellas that come with the game, and I've gotten into using them recently because I never used to use them. So yeah, I felt that looked a lot more stylish. This is totally a pretty posh deck, like very nice outdoors. Rich people own this house for sure. It kind of makes me want to go beach and sip pina coladas and relax in the sun. It's freezing in Australia at the moment. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's not always happy fun time in the summertime in Australia, guys. Well, for Australians probably know that already, but for our other friends who assume it's always like beautiful and sunny here. Ironically, it is sunny today, but there was a big storm the other day, and that's part of the reason I wanted to do my beach house as well. The other thing is, I released my summer sim. Her name's Summer Green. I released her earlier this week, and she's been relatively popular. Like, she's had a few downloads, so that's really good. And I wanted to match this her Summer Green, the sim, with the house. I wanted to like have it go together, given that I did the fall sim and the fall house together. I actually was going to do a spring house first, and then I thought, oh no, I did the summer sim, so I'm going to do the summer house. And then I'll probably do spring next after this. So yeah, that's pretty much the finished look. Just picking some plants and things, but I love the plants in game. That's the other thing. I totally use the there's a supersize feature. If you press the bracket button, you can make objects bigger and larger, smaller and larger. Bigger and larger is the same thing, guys. Smaller and bigger. And I use that a lot, but you have to be careful with it because it can interfere with gameplay when you play. So it's always good to playtest. Although now I'm kind of forced to playtest the lots now. I mean, I always tended to anyways, but now you kind of have to because of, for one thing, there's like a little white line around the lot when you're in build mode, which is a little bit annoying, and that only goes away if you're if you move a sim into the lot and you're using the camera controls. And the other thing is there's no real camera controls in build mode. It doesn't work, so you need to always move your sim in. Except now with seasons, I have to play through the whole season to get the right season, which is annoying. But yeah, almost done, guys. We're almost at the end. I really hope you liked it. Again, this lot will be available in the gallery. First, this is part 1, which is the exterior and the build. Part 2 is going to be the inside and the decorations. I hope you check that out. And when I've released that, I will release the lot into the gallery. And I hope you guys download it. All 5 of you. And yeah, it's no CC, but I do use a lot of the Maxis expansions just to try and get the most objects possible. And that's it. I'm going to add some screenshots at the end of this so you guys can see the build a little bit better. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you like and subscribe and probably watch my next video. It'll be out probably on Sunday, I would say. So yeah, Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.